folks are understanding what I'm saying. That this tacit fear, this fear of the unknown, this fear of what will happen if, who would I be if, that this fear operates in the background and compromises our capacity for quality decision making, compromises our capacity for thinking in a way that is actually true for us. Uh, uh, Gets us doing things in order to get things rather than just doing the things that we're called to do because it's loving to do them. Oh. That's what happens when we deal with this notion of uncertainty. When we allow this fear to just quietly corrode our inner thoughts. And that fear ends up becoming the captain of the ship. Unfortunately, it's dressed up just like logic. So when we stress test it with other people, they're liable to say, oh, yeah, that does make sense. So we end up getting a confirmation bias from other people based on a logic that's predicated on fear. Dang. Dang. Sublime saying, yeah, I get that. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, I get that for sure. Okay, so here we go. At some point, we're going to need to talk about how do we get out of this? How is it that we can move through this quiet, almost, it's like a subconscious fear, the one that gets us blaming and bargaining, blaming somebody else. And remember, I got the book Spiritual Responsibility back here. I'm all about it. But if I can see that even my thoughts will switch to blame, if the fear is jacked up high enough, oh no, we got a problem. we, got, we got a problem. So no, I got to make sure we get to the bottom of this on tonight. Because the first step is blame. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But then we start questioning that. What if they do know what they're talking about? I mean, they are the number one guru in the world for a reason, you know what I'm saying? So what if they do know what they're talking about? Ooh. Number two, stage two after the blame is the bargaining. Okay, well, let me just kind of reconcile what they're saying with what I want to do. And maybe I can do it like this, and then I can put this over here. And the crazy part is that when I say that fear is guiding this logic, you start to blame, then you start to bargain, then you start to create plans based off of the fear that masquerades as logic, and you end up with a very elegant blueprint for doing anything but God's will. When I say God, I mean that which comes most naturally to us. Your purpose for being, your reason for being. Ugh. Somebody needs to hear this. Yeah, hey, and it might be me, okay? So here we go. You know I love to teach from principle. You know I love to teach from principle. Good day, Dr. Shawn. My name is Shar. Shar. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. So beautiful to have you. Okay, so thank you for your acknowledgement of my frequency upon your chin. Absolutely, absolutely. You know I love to teach from principle. In Transcendent Psychology, I want you to understand the principle of a thing. Once you get the principle, you can put together everything else from there. So what's the principle on tonight? I got my breakthrough board. Okay. What's the principle on tonight? The principle is this. The principle is this: that fear controls you when you feel that uncertainty is greater than the danger. I'm saying that fear controls you when you mistake uncertainty for danger. So even that's a better equation here. That fear controls you when you mistake uncertainty for danger. When you set these equal to one another, that's the moment that fear gets you. That's when it is quietly running the show. I want to make sure I say this again. That fear controls you when uncertainty is mistaken for danger. Because what happens is we start thinking that just because we don't know what's going to happen next, that somehow we're in trouble. And that just because we can't tell if we'll survive the ordeal, that somehow that needs to be a problem. Instead, we start thinking that just because we don't know if we will survive the ordeal, that needs to be a problem. Folks, I need you to catch what I'm saying on tonight. I need you to catch what I'm saying.